Hey y'all, good evening. This is Tonetta, your relationship coach at Speak Your Truth, and welcome to part 2 of 4, video 2 of 4 in the series talking about speaking your truth. And this particular lesson is talking about unlearning and relearning. In the first part of this series, we actually talked about the importance of speaking your truth. And then, of course, where do you start speaking your truth? And, of course, like I said, where you start is, of course, writing about where you currently are or just thinking about where you currently are. If you don't want to write right now, that's fine. But like I said, at least thinking about where you currently are. And like I said, definitely that was part 1 of 4. This is hey, Abigail, thanks for tuning in. And this is video number 2. And like I said, this video is talking about unlearning and relearning. And I know, like I said, in part 1, we talked about, like I said, where do you start as far as figuring out where you are in life and that kind of thing. Once you, of course, figure out where you are in life, like I said in part 1, you, of course, want to start thinking about what things do you need to unlearn and what things do you need to relearn in life. I guess I put it that way. And as you go through the process of course, writing about where you are in life, where you currently are, what your status currently is, whether it's relationship or job or business or whatever it is, your kid status, whatever it is. Like I said, writing down where you, of course, currently are. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of things that you, of course, start uncovering. I guess I put it that way. Uncovering, meaning that you're going to find a lot of things that you, of course, grew up on, people told you about, your environment, that kind of thing. Some of those things were not the truth. I guess I put it that way. Are they not the current truth as you see it? I guess I put it that way. Because I know things change, years change, decades change things. And like I said, the things that you were once told growing up, they no longer hold place. I guess I put it that way. So like I said, you definitely have to unlearn a lot of things. And like I said, I know some people are not ready for that particular step. I guess I put it that way. But like I said, when it comes to speaking your truth and finding out who you are and being who you are and those kind of things as well, you have to realize, of course, like I said, that there's going to be some things that's going to make you upset. You're going to be all upset and angry. Your parents told you this, your pastor told you this or whatever it was. And now you're finding out that those things were not the truth. And like I said, that's definitely going to be some triggering, I guess, being done, during this process. And like I said, that's why I keep sticking with the point of writing. And like I said, definitely with the journaling and writing down your feelings and writing down how you're going through, I guess, what you're feeling like going through this process, that is greatly going to help you. So keep that in mind. And like I said, I know you don't want to call people and go off on them, that kind of thing. I'm not saying that at all. Do not do that. Please don't do that. But like I said, definitely make sure that you're, like I said, journaling. If you want to journal, some folks may not, but like I said, I just suggest that you write throughout this process so that you can, of course, process and those kind of things, process your feelings and process the things that happened in the past and process where you are now and that kind of thing as well. Like I said, you definitely have to look at that when you're, of course, going through a process talking about speaking your truth and being who you are. Because like I said, a lot of things that you've learned, you definitely have to unlearn. And Abigail, you said sometimes those teaching us were misinformed also. They likely still do not know what that they were misinformed. And that's greatly true as well. Of course, sometimes, our parents, our grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, our aunts and our uncles and all those kind of folks, the environment, the pastors, whoever else it is, like Abigail just said, sometimes they have no idea that the information that they learned was not the correct information. And like I said, and they were misinformed as well. So like I said, you definitely have to take it easy. I guess I put it that way. Like I said, don't call anyone going off, saying this, saying that. Just process these things on your own, like I said, in your journal. Writing about them, those kind of things as well. Like I said, whatever happened in the past happened. There's nothing you can do about the information, whether your parents or whoever it is knew the information or not. Just keep that in mind. And like Abigail said, they may not have known that information at all. They may have been told the same misinformation, the same information that wasn't true and that kind of thing, or the same information that no longer holds up. But like I said, it was just passed down from generation to generation for everybody to think the same way because so-and-so said so or that kind of thing. And like I said, when you're dealing with situations and families and environments and communities and things like that, just keep that in mind. Like I said, there's going to be some things that you're going to have to unlearn. And then going throughout this process, just keep in mind as well, once you're trying to rebuild your life and rebuild who you are and that kind of thing and stand in your truth and that kind of thing, you have to realize that you're going to have to relearn some things. Excuse me, y'all. and relearn some things. It just depends on what things you, of course, unlearn. Like I said, it's just suppose it was generational curses, or it was about money and how money don't grow on trees and all these types of things that you hear throughout the family. And of course, you have to save your money and you have to do this and you have to do that. But then as you go along in life, you, of course, develop wisdom, you develop knowledge, gain more information, that kind of thing, and realize that some of those money and financial tactics your family have told you were not true. Like I said, the things that you're relearning, those things that you're relearning about money and finances and bank accounts and credit scores or whatever it is, like I said, those are the things that you'll have to relearn in order to, of course, continue to navigate throughout your own life. So keep that in mind. And like I said, definitely finding out who you are, speaking your truth and those kind of things. Like I said, that is greatly important in this process. And like I said, definitely you are going to be triggered, like I said, throughout this process. And the reason why I'm going over this with you, like I said, these are things I had to learn as well. And Abigail was actually somewhat a part of that process as well. And like I said, this was back like a few years ago and that kind of thing, having to, I think some call it awakenings, and whichever word you want to put to it. Like I said, it's all kind of the same concept, to be honest. But like I said, definitely you have to realize, of course, like I said, where you currently are, like I said in video number 1. And of course, like I said, where you currently are, the things that you've learned up until this point, up until whatever age you are now, as of this moment, this time, that whichever place you're in. And like I said, you definitely have to realize where you are right now. And like I said, that'll give you the gateway, and the segue into unlearning some of the things that you've learned in the past. And like I said, definitely some of the things that you may have learned, like I said, they're going to trigger you and that kind of thing as well. But just keep in mind that when you're going through your journal, don't be afraid to, of course, write out your feelings. Don't be afraid to write out those emotions that you're going through, that you're experiencing. That's how you, of course, start. Excuse me, y'all, something's going on in this basement. But like I said, that's how you start, of course. Like I said, developing who you are, finding out more about who you are, and processing your feelings and those kind of things as well. Just don't be afraid to, of course, whether it's cursing, you're putting out curse words or whatever it is. You hate this, you hate that, F this, F that. Like I said, definitely that is fine, but just make sure that you're, of course, expressing yourself as you're going through writing out these things and thinking about these things. Like I said, you don't want to call anybody, go off on them, write it all in your journal. And like I said, just go off in your journal, that kind of thing as well. And like I said, this is how you process, and that's how you talk about and figure out the words to use when you're trying to, of course, go on and tell your partner, go on and tell whoever it is about who you are now, that kind of thing, or how you're going to speak your truth and how you're going to stand in your, in your own truth and that kind of thing. Like I said, you definitely have to take those kind of things into consideration. So like I said, this video today was all about unlearning and relearning. I know there's a lot of things that, of course, can go into this entire video. I can't discuss every single hundreds of things, that kind of thing at all. But just the general concept, of course, of kind of how you can navigate this particular part of the process. And like I said, definitely making sure that you, like I said, if you don't have a journal, just get a notebook or get some sticky notes or whatever you want to use. But like I said, definitely making sure that you're writing down your parts of the process. Like I said, I have journals because I did let you all know that I was going to give a little bit of my story as well with these things. But like I said, in the past, of course, I think I have about 4 or 5 journals maybe since 2017, 18-ish. And like I said, these are the same things that I went through, of course, as far as writing out my feelings and writing about my emotions and talking about the triggers and talking about all the things that I was that I found out that no longer hold ground in my life. Like I said, those things that to me were not true, or I was lied to, and all those types of things, whichever word you want to use. Like I said, that was definitely some of the process that I went through as well. Like I said, that's why I'm telling you all this and going over these things with you all. Because like I said, for the this is the first workshop. And this workshop is, of course, speaking your truth, being who you are, finding out who you are. That's what this whole entire, this particular workshop is about. And like I said, that's greatly important if you want to, of course, be in relationships. And like I always say, the main relationship you have to be in is with yourself. But of course, being in relationships with a partner, that kind of thing, if you don't know how to, of course, stand your own ground, how to advocate for yourself, how to, of course, be who you are, you're going to go into that relationship, of course, being someone else that that will, you'll go into that relationship, I put it that way, but you won't be the person that you know that you are. And you'll be, of course, trying to keep up with this false narrative, keep up with these lies and this kind of thing. You don't want your partner to find out that you have been abused in the past, or you don't want your partner to find out that you had been abused in the past, whatever it is. Like I told y'all yesterday in video part number 1, all the things that, of course, finding out where you currently are and that kind of thing, all the things that you, of course, been through, all the behaviors, all the type of thing. I mean, all the attitudes that you have, all the behaviors, all the everything else that you have, I guess, that you've been through, like I said, it's going to come out. It's going to come out non-verbally most of the time, like I said, in the behaviors that you exhibit in your relationships. Usually that's how those things happen. Like I said, if you're one, just for example, you've been cheated on with all the guys in the past, or whichever the case may be. And like I said, once you're getting to this step in the process, you're unlearning the process. Well, I can't say the process, but unlearning the, I lost my train of thought, y'all. Unlearning the patterns that you, of course, were going through in the past. Like I said, you have Tom, Dick, and Harry, but all these folks have done the same thing to you, used and abused and that kind of thing. Like I said, that is a pattern. Lord, I'm sorry, y'all. There is a pattern that you have to unlearn. And like I said, definitely one of those things. Like I said, that's definitely something that you have to, of course, look at, especially if that's where you currently are in life and that kind of thing. And like I said, that's a pattern that you have to unlearn if you're wanting to unlearn it at this time. And like I said, I know some people listening to this may not be ready for this type of process, I guess I put it that way, and find out who they are, speaking the truth, and how to advocate for themselves and that kind of thing. Like I said, you may not be ready right now, and that's fine. But like I said, definitely think about these things as you navigate throughout life and navigate throughout your next few weeks, few months, and that kind of thing. And then just come back and revisit this. Like I said, for those who are especially not ready to go through this process at this time, but just keep in mind that this is allotted to anyone. You can choose at any point to, of course, like I said, to step more out, of course, like I said, to be yourself, to speak your truth, and like I said, to stand your ground. And like I said, this process, of course, like I said, is not for the faint of heart. It's not for everybody, but like I said, for those who are ready, definitely, like I said, make sure that you're listening to these processes, listening to these I guess particular parts, and I guess in this particular workshop, to make sure that you're, of course, learning the information that you need, to make sure that you, of course, know what the process is and what kind of process you will have to go down and journal about as well. So like I said, the video tonight was talking about unlearning the things of the past that, of course, may have been holding you back and may have kept you in a sense, stuck in a particular spot that you couldn't get past. And then, of course, relearning the things that you have found out that you think are true, not that your family think is true, not that your pastor think is true, not that your friends think is true, not that your job think is true, but relearning the things that you think is true for your own life, the things that feel good to you, I guess I put it that way. Whatever brings you happiness, whatever brings you joy, whatever brings you peace and contentment, that kind of thing. Those are the things that you're wanting to relearn for your own life. Like I said, nobody else. Yes, I can tell you all these things and plant seeds, and Abigail can do the same thing, and anybody else on this video can do the same thing as well, can, of course, empower you and give you all these steps and that kind of thing. But just keep in mind, this is your process. This is just a overall view for you, I guess I put it that way, but you decide how you want to go through this process, how fast or how slow, that kind of thing as well. Just keep that in mind. And also, like I said, keep in mind that nobody can force you to do anything, I guess I put it that way. If you're, of course, talking to, I guess, like a supportive person, and that person's telling you, girl, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this. Like I said, if that stuff does not feel good to you, that somebody's saying to you, then do not do that, or do not do whatever it is. Like I said, it has to feel good in your heart and your soul and your spirit in order for you to do it, is what I'm telling you, I guess I put it that way. So I know a lot of times we go through our life, we learn and we find out information and all this kind of stuff is going on. Sometimes we'll pick it up even though it does not feel good to us. And I'm just telling you, with this kind of process where you're learning to speak your truth and be who you are and stand in those things, you have to pick the things and figure out the things that feel good to you, like I said, in your heart, mind, body, and soul, before you can move forward. Not just because of what somebody said or you read an article over here. Those things don't feel right. Do not do those things. I'm just telling you that right now. And like I said, do the things that, of course, bring you peace, that bring you joy, that bring you happiness, and, of course, that bring you contentment. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start ending this video. I just want to thank you all for tuning in to workshop number 2, part number 2. And this was talking about speaking your truth, and it was talking about unlearning and relearning. And like I said, this is the second part in the process of speaking your truth. And of course, learning to be who you are. So with that, I want to say thank y'all for tuning in. And for those who catch the replay, greatly enjoy. I'll see y'all again tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time for video number 3 of 4. And that's going to be talking about who am I and what do I stand for. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Take care, y'all.